Hello, Skinny Time podcast viewers and listeners. As some of you may know, today's episode will be a little bit different. Our special today is a tribute to the recently deceased Naya Rivera. For those of you who may not know Naya, she is well known for her role as Santana Lopez on Glee. On Wednesday, July 8th, Naya was reported missing at Lake Piru, where she was on a boat with her son Josie. Her body was recovered Monday, July 13th, and pronounced dead. Our beloved actress, singer, dancer, author will be held dearly in our hearts forever. She has made an impact on so many young viewers, including our own alxneuhedel. I will be asking him questions on how she has impacted his life and more, hoping you guys enjoy. And may Naya Rivera rest in peace. Thank you.
Hi, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm still recovering from being a little sad, but it's very devastating to hear that she's gone.
Yeah,
And
I know you took it really hard with the whole social media thing. I know you were planning on taking a complete social media break for a whole week, but then your
yeah,
friends talked you out of it.
I think it was just taking a whole break. When I first thought of it, I was like, I need a whole break because besides the whole death, I think I was just thinking overly too much about it because I was also for some reason bringing up old drama and stuff, and I was like, I don't think that's really the reason why I should leave. But then I was talking to Sharon and my friend Josh, and they were like, if you think it's necessary to really take a break for a week, then go
And
ahead.
do it.
But I talked out saying, I think it's just because I'm really sad, but I think I can get over it easily. So I decided
Oh,
to
100%.
come back.
Yeah.
But it was a very difficult time. But since that Monday till now, yeah.
It's quite rough. Yeah, I understand. So I know you were keeping up with the whole disappearance the day that it was announced, and I know you were very optimistic that they were going to find her and that she was going to come out alive and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Do you mind
everybody.
explaining the situation of Naya's disappearance to the viewers out there that really don't know what's going on?
Should I go in full detail or try to simplify it?
As much detail as you want to go into it as.
Okay, so from my perspective, we found out, well, how should I say that? I guess I'll do it in my perspective. I found out that she went missing the night of Monday, so Wednesday, the 8th, July 8th at I don't know, 2 a.m. or whatnot. And it said that Glee co-star actress Naya Rivera is disappeared. And immediately I was shocked and concerned. I was like, oh my gosh, wait, what's going on? What happened? Immediately I first thought, okay, it's just a little disappearance, person's report of disappearance. Maybe she just got lost somewhere or whatnot. But then slowly I'm getting more news saying that she went out on a lake, and then more news were saying that she's presumed dead. Once I heard presumed dead, that's when I started getting worried. But overall, what happened was Naya was presumed dead because she disappeared when she went on a boating trip with her 4-year-old son Josie in Lake Piru in California. Reports are saying that she went on a boat, they went out, and a woman called the police saying that there is a child on a boat stranded in the lake and the mother's not there. And we find out that Naya's body was missing, so they don't know what happened to her. And it was about 4 to 5 day search. They assumed that she was most of the reports were saying that she may have drowned, which was the case. When they found the body, she was presumed, and official said that she did die of drowning. But the real mystery that everyone was trying to figure out was she alive or was she dead, and what happened? How did she disappear? What caused her to disappear? But most of them were saying that what we also found out, sorry, I'm so out of place. They said that Josie said that his mom put him back on the boat and then she never saw her again, meaning she used the last of her strength to put him on the boat and she couldn't get back on. And she also didn't have a life vest, which is also very sad because you should really be wearing your life vest when they tell you to. So, but in all, she died a hero. But I mean, what I was doing was I was catching up with the whole thing on Twitter. I was tweeting a lot. I wasn't trying to get the attention. I was trying to get people's attention because I wanted to be a part of this investigation. I was like, maybe this could be a lead, or maybe this could be some evidence or whatnot. A lot of people on Twitter were saying she may have been in a tiny house cabin, really like they said it was like a 10-minute walk away from the parking lot. Then this one image that looked like a woman was by the rocks in the northeastern part of the lake. That was the picture that everyone was talking about. But once I was seeing more evidence and stuff, the more likely of her being alive was very low chances. And then the other day on the 13th, when they found her body, that's when I slowly fell apart, and I was like, she's probably not alive. And then when I found out that she was dead, I was very heartbroken.
Yeah, I understand the whole heartbreak and why it would be so heartbreaking for you. How would you explain the feelings that you had when you found out Naya was pronounced deceased, and
When
what would you describe that as?
when I first was hearing the reports of her being pronounced presumed dead, God, I can't speak. I immediately was like, okay, this has to be false. Like, how can you presumingly think that she's dead already? Like, either you didn't have enough evidence or your investigation team didn't do their job. And no offense to any reports or anything, no police is not. I'm not trying to be any hateful or anything. I'm just, in my opinion, when I first heard that news, I immediately was like, this investigation team is not the best. But when I found out that when her body was discovered floating, that's when I knew that she was dead. I was immediately sad. I literally started crying. But when I first heard the presuming dead, I was like kind of shocked and worried. So those were my two emotions. First, it was shocked, a little bit concerned, and then it turned into upset and grieving.
So how did you first get introduced to Naya in general? Like, how did you become a fan of hers?
When let me think. Like when I first started to like her as a person, or like when I first knew when I first knew about her.
When you first found out about her.
When I first found out about Naya, was when I watched Glee, like when I watched a couple episodes of Glee, like when I was very young. I didn't know who she was, but like I saw her on TV and whatnot. But as I got older, the name wasn't really clear to me. I was like, I never heard of her before, but she's clearly an actress on the show. But when I got more into when I got towards high school, now I started rewatching the show again because I was like, I never really saw all the episodes. I've just listened to the songs. That's when I was like, oh my God, I love her. Like she's an amazing person, that she's such a great actress. She's phenomenal. That's like, so I would say I got to know her more when I was in high school. By that, I mean now.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, of course. What did you have any special connections to her as like a character or as a person in general?
Definitely connections in personality traits. I would definitely say yes to, because as Naya Rivera herself, she's very independent and she's very like a strong woman. But mostly when I connect to her, I am immediately drawn to her character as Santana Lopez on Glee, because that's where she's this total different character of herself. What really stood out to me with that character and that I connected to was that I'm gonna like say as Santana Lopez, as Naya Rivera playing her character, she made this character in a way like a bitchy type character, but that's like, you're a preteen cheerleader. You're gonna expect something like that from a stereotypical cheerleader like that. But the way she would act around the people who were kind of negative towards her or like were got in her way, she always would fight back and not be like all accepting, like, oh, it's okay. No, like she defended herself. And that's what I learned when I saw that. I was like, I should be doing that as well in school. Like, why should I have people whose insecurities are the best of them affecting me? Like, I don't want someone like controlling me at school. I don't want someone telling me what to do in a way like they're like, oh, let me control your life because we don't think you're perfect enough or whatnot. I'm like, I don't want to be perfect. I just want people to not be so freaking asinine and tell me how horrible I am. So what she does is like she would like in a way sarcastically be brutally honest towards people and telling them what she thinks of them. And that got me to thinking, if I was like that in a way, people would understand that I don't give like a flipping, F about what you're going to say, because anything that say this or that person says is just going to be either asinine, insecure, or something irrelevant in a way. So she just, in other words, she basically taught me how to fight back to someone who's trying to come at me in a way, but I know that they're just sorry in a way, but they're just like a fool of themselves.
Yeah, I understand. And the thing is that with characters like that, you have to be such an excellent and amazing actress to even portray those types of characters.
Oh,
or to even
100%. Yeah.
put that performance on the screen in such a fantastic way to the point where it will impact anybody. How devastating is it the fact that you know that Naya is leaving behind someone so young, such as Josie? And I feel like that's the worst part of this whole thing.
Yeah. That's what's so sad about that is that she loved Josie with all her life. Like anytime she was interviewed or whatnot, whenever she brought up Josie, you can tell that it was a connection. It wasn't just like any mother who has a child, they're like, oh, they're devoted to their children. It's like, oh, it's not like, oh, this is my favorite child. No, like this is her only child. But like you can tell that there was such a strong connection to them. It was almost like it's like, it's not like they were just mom and son. It was like they're BFFs in a way. Like she did everything with him and he was clearly happy with her. But what's so devastating is that without her, with Josie not having his mother is just so sad, because it's like a part of the happiness is taken away from him. And it's devastating. Like he's at 4 years old, like once he's gonna be told that his mom like passed away when he's older, that's gonna be shocking because he probably won't remember that in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's not many memories I have as a 4-year-old that is clear and vivid. They're all vague and blurry, And the time that he did have with his mother, it's going to be not as memorable as he would hope it to be. But I feel like he was blessed with such an amazing woman as his mother, and all the love and affection that he did give her. I mean, that she did give him as he grew up and as he developed, will definitely leave an emotional impact on him, whether or not he remembers her as much as he should.
Yeah,
Because you
definitely.
can see I even was scrolling through her Instagram and I saw that it was Instagram left it as remembering, which
Yeah, I
is
found out.
less. Yeah. And I saw an image that she posted for Josie's birthday, and it was like, I will like you always as long as I am living. And that hit me very hard, just knowing the fact that she said that, because she would always just put out that she wanted to see him grow up. She really wanted to see him
She wanted to
grow
see
and
like
develop.
the person that he would become. Because what's also sad is that I saw this image and it was like a picture of Naya when she was 4 years old and a picture of Josie side by side, and you can see such a similarity. It looks like they're the same person. So in a way, I kind of see that Josie might look like Naya in a way, grown up, as a boy, duh. But he'll have definitely gene traits similar to Naya's.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? It's just very sad in general, just knowing the fact that he has to be left behind, and it's going to just be so traumatizing to him. And I know that Naya and her ex-husband are divorced, so I wonder what his situation is going to be after
Yeah, I don't know
all
really
this.
much of their history, but all I know is that Josie's gonna have to be taken care of by Naya's family in a way. So
Yeah. I have another question. How was Naya important to you?
the way I see it is that it was almost like she was kind of like an inspiration, but she was also like a role model for me for like high school because I felt like every time I watched her on Glee, it almost felt like she was this almost like a conscience to me. Like she was a person who's like telling me like, oh, if any person says something rude or mean to me, I can just think about it and think of her and remember, don't let words hurt you because you know that if you don't stand up for yourself, you're not being defensive and you're just going to make yourself think that you're the smaller person and the other person's bigger than you. And it's in a way I feel like what she's important to me is that she teaches me how to stand up for myself and know that if any person says anything mean or wrong to me, it's because they're insecure.
Yeah, everybody in high school is just insecure,
Oh,
jealous,
100%.
overzealous, and all that stuff. And what I do feel is great is that she is recorded and we have the complete episodes and all of her recordings from her singing and even her book.
Dancing, acting,
hmm
yeah,
and so on and so forth. And that is the beauty in the pain right now, is that we have the memories that she has put out into the world, and we have these things that she could still help us even though she's not with us anymore. And we should feel blessed that Naya has allowed such an amazing impact and she could leave this footprint on the earth at such a young age,
hmm
especially at the age of 33. Because there are people that are 33 years old and can't even hold their own house. But we're sitting here and we're talking amazing about such a young, beautiful, smart, intelligent, talented woman who left such an amazing impact on so many people across the country.
yeah,
And that is one thing that we need to be grateful for, is that we got to experience her grow and share her talent with the world.
definitely.
And I'm going to just leave you with one final question. If you could take back time and you could meet Naya in person, what would be one thing you would say to her?
Whew, oh my gosh. Oh wow, this is something. If I had to say, if there were like only like one thing to say, just like
Or it could be imagine like at a meet and greet and you get to like say a couple words to her, like
I
what
would
would you say?
probably be like, thank you for everything that you've done. You're such an inspiration to me, and you as my role model, I think that you'll like accomplish great things, and I'm like happy that you're here and everything. Like I would probably just get like compliments and being like in a way connections because in a way, like the other night I was kind of having a dream and I was kind of like thinking like if there was a way to turn back time, I would totally I would want to go travel to like Peru, be there in the parking lot the day she went there, bump into her, something like that. Maybe even take a picture with her or tell her or warn her like, oh, the lake is going to be a little dangerous or something tonight. Just be careful because I don't want anything bad happening or whatnot. I want to like warn her about it because, or you know what I mean? It's like I wish I
Yeah,
could
I get what
go
you
back
mean.
in time, warn her about the
And
lake.
do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah, do something about it because honestly, if I was there without any knowing any intentions that this was ever going to occur, and I took a picture with her being like, oh, hey guys, look, I just met Naya Rivera in real life at a parking lot or whatnot. What is so sad about that? And if that occurred, like, then the whole tragedy, not only is that picture of her and her son would be the last, picture or whatnot, or even like the last video is like her in the parking lot, the last picture of her being alive would be the picture of me and her together. And that'd be like the last thing I ever seen of her, because before that, the last thing I did anything, the way I word it, it's kind of weird, but in a way that honors her, or I did in favor, or what I mean, like something that represented her, was my monologue in theater arts this year. I wanted to do another female monologue because I've done a couple male monologues, but I've never tried like a female one, so, or even presented a female character. I did the monologue, that the scene from The Quarterback when she confronts Sue about Corey Monteith's well, also he's unfortunately dead too, but like about his memorial in the episode or whatnot. So I did like that whole monologue. So, and that was very emotional to do, because you can feel her pain and struggle, even though certain times in the show Glee, she had like difficulties with the character Finn, like not really like Corey himself, but like Santana and Finn never had a really great connection together, but like you can tell that she cared a lot about him. So the only thing, if anyone ever asks like, oh, what was the last thing you knew about Naya or whatnot, and I would probably be like, the monologue I did in high school, that was from her, or that I did investigations for a mystery of her disappearance and then finding out that she died.
I think that was great. And I think that these questions were awesome, and the way you answered them were so beautifully, and I think they represented Naya so well. And she was a beautiful person. She was an amazing person. And we both would like to put out our condolences to her family and her loved one. And we pray for you. We have respects, and we hold Naya dear in our hearts. And coming from somebody who wasn't such a Glee fan, it still hurts knowing the fact that we are losing people that are young and talented, and our mothers that have families, whether or not you are famous or you're not, it's still painful, and everybody understands what it's like to lose a loved one.
Yeah, because even if you didn't see Glee or knew who she was, and you found out like what happened, it's still sad. It's like a mother who goes on a boat with her 4-year-old son, dies hero because she saved her son from a rip current or whatever in the lake. That's sad.
It's horrible. And we just want to give our condolences to the family, and we want to know that we loved and we adored Naya to her very last. And we pray for all of you who are listening, even if you're a fan and you are emotionally hurt, because we learn to love these people for who they are and what they put out into the world. So we would just like to say thank you, Naya, for everything that you have done, not just for us, but for everybody that you have touched out there.
Anyone who knew you as like an actress on TV,
or as a person,
role model, author, dancer, singer, anything,
mother, sister, cousin,
brother.
daughter.
Well, not really.
She's
brother.
A woman.
But I feel like any Glee fan won't. I feel like watching Glee won't be the same without her being alive in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it'll just be
I totally understand.
Sad.
Well, thank you everybody for listening, and for those who are listening as a Naya Rivera fan, we thank you, and we would like you to spread positivity, because that's what she would want to do.
Yeah,
she would
definitely.
want you to spread positivity,
happiness,
and be kind to others, and happiness.
Love.
And we appreciate you guys for listening and coming, because this was for her.
Yeah, and it's difficult talking about it, even though I was just having like a really hard time about it. But I think talking about it again made me relieve kind of the stress and like the grief, and like talking it out, because thinking too much about it would have made me sad. But I think talking to another person about it made it, I think I feel much better about it. But I mean,
yeah,
I think that any Glee fan or anyone who's listening missing her or anything, that just remember that even if someone you love dear to your heart leaves the earth, just remember you have more people around you to support you and love you. So
And
that's, yeah.
if you were thinking about these questions and you had different answers, then that's a good, and you can even try and use these answers of these questions, not necessarily just for Naya, but for anybody who passes and how they cope. And these are questions that you can use for coping.
Yeah,
So I think
definitely.
this is we're gonna end it here, guys. And rest in peace, Naya Rivera, and condolences to the family and friends.
Make sure to turn on the notifications for when we do post another new episode for the Skinny Time podcast. And well, guys, well, we'll see you later.
Bye.